Hello, hello, welcome back once again. I'm indoors. I'm really excited about being back in a warm indoor environment with my lights, and I could just kind of relax a little bit. So I'm gonna jump right into it today because I got my coffee. This is my favorite coffee mug. Pretty brown eyes. I got this from the site Izzy and Liv. If you haven't seen their stuff, everything on that site is pretty dope. So check them out. They're amazing. And I got this beautiful little mug that inspires me every day. So today I decided for the live streams today is to actually give you guys some of the exercises that I use on my clients when I'm doing coaching sessions. I have a lot of cool tricks and exercises that really help draw out the messaging and the things that you're trying to pull out. When I talk about the negative messaging, it could be called a lot of things: the inner critic, your subconscious conditioning, hidden agendas, and they all come down to the story that you are telling yourself internally that is actually hurting you or blocking you or redirecting you in a way that is keeping you from your goals. You have goals, and if you don't think you're being kept from your goals, really think about it. Are you where you want to be right now? And so if you're feeling like, nope, everything's great, everything's amazing, all right, great then. But chances are, if you're on this group in this site and someone that I've worked with before, there are places where you have ideas and goals where you would like to see your life that aren't being reflected right now. So I'm going to give you an exercise to kind of talk about and get to the heart of some of that conditioning. The thing about subconscious conditioning and these subconscious messages is they're subconscious. So you don't necessarily know that it's going on below the surface. You might be telling yourself conscious messaging in form of mantras, in form of pep talks, in form of I'm going to be great. And you could say that a million times a day. But if subconsciously, deep down in your programming, you believe a completely different story, that story is going to win. That story is always, always going to win. The conscious brain takes in the information, but the subconscious brain is the one actually pushing things along and driving it. The subconscious is also where your heart beats and you're breathing. You don't think about it. It's there to keep you alive. And the conscious kind of steers a little bit, but ultimately the subconscious is where the magic starts to happen. So you have to get those messages out. A lot of times people will think they know what their subconscious messaging is based on their conscious thought. But yet, they are surprised when they take actions or things are happening in the opposite of what they're convincing themselves. And that's when I know that you've got something else going on that you're not aware of, and we have to figure out what that is and how to get that out. It's very sneaky though. All those inner critic, all that inner messaging, it can be very sneaky because it's part of ego and it doesn't want to be let go. It doesn't want that. It is the part of you that feels that it's doing you a favor by being there. It's protecting you, and it doesn't want to be let go. So sometimes it'll sneak around just under the surface, and then when you try to identify it, you get a lot of like, oh, I don't know, and no, I'm not like that. It's, oh, I know, and you push it off. So here's an exercise I walk clients through to start rooting out. And it's fun. I'm just a firm believer, maybe it's just because I'm so happy, but also because if you're enjoying yourself and having fun with something, you're going to get a lot better results versus I have to do this has to happen, putting your foot down. It's everything you do should come from a place of just flow and magic and relaxation, and that way you can start letting things happen. So it's a fun little exercise. What you're going to need is a notebook. Any notebook will do. This is the one I'm using right now. I am never without a notebook. You guys, and I highly recommend the same. I'm never without a notebook. Handwriting things is so much more effective in terms of your mindset work and work on releasing your inner traumas and inner fears and blockages. You got to write it down. It has something to do with the physicality and where it comes from in your brain and just the process and why you have to think a lot longer to put it down. It just doesn't work as well if you're typing it up. So save the typing for your papers and your presentations, but for your mindset work, get a pen and start writing. Get a nice pen and a nice notebook. If you don't have a notebook, paper will do. It doesn't matter. You just have to write it down. In terms of abundance and success, I always think something luscious and just delicious that you can hold on to and feel good with is always better. But done is better than perfect. So please do not hold up doing this exercise looking for the perfect notebook. That's not necessary. So get a notebook. And what I have people do is you take two sides of the book. So you're going to write on one half and leave the other side blank. So when you fill up this page, and you will, you're going to turn the next page and just keep on that one side. Keep on the left side or right side if you're left-handed and that's more comfortable. But just keep everything on one side and leave the other side blank. You're already going to put something on this side in just a moment. So I'm going to keep to one side of the notebook. What you are going to write. You can date it if you want. You can put your name on it. That part doesn't matter. What you're going to write on that side of the notebook is you're going to go into full detail. I love doing this exercise. The full detail about your perfect day. Your perfect day. And before you say like, that sounds lame, but here are the boundaries and the caveats around this. There's no rules. You don't have to stick to the rules of time. You don't have to stick to the rules of physics. You don't have to stick to the rules of conventional norms. You don't even have to stick to the rules in terms of, I don't even have training in that. It's your perfect day. If I could give you a magical wand to make everything poof instantly happen without any boundaries. If you want to fly into your job, put it in. The goal is you're going to start from the very, very beginning of the day. The more details, the better. In fact, I want you to focus on all the little minute details. As many as you possibly can. Do not scrimp on anything. For example, what time do you wake up on a perfect day, on your perfect day? Not on your current reality day. Not on the day that you've been told that, like, well, according to business books, I really should wake up at 5 o'clock a.m. If that doesn't feel perfect to you, then don't wake up at 5 o'clock p.m. If waking up at noon feels great to you, great, put it down. Write the exact time that you will be getting up on your perfect, ideal, magical day. From there, how do you wake up? Do you wake up naturally? Do you wake up with the sun? Do you have a fancy alarm clock? Do you have one of those alarm clocks that you see in like a Tinker's movie where it goes through all these different phases to wake you up? How do you wake up in the morning and what time? When you first open your eyes, what do you see? What's the first thing you see in the morning? Do you see a partner? Do you see your luxurious paintings on the wall? Do you see work that you've done? What are you hearing when you wake up? Are you listening to birds? Are you listening to music? Are you listening to a baby snoring next to you? Whatever. Like, go into that level of detail. What's on your bedding? Or are you waking up in the middle of a tent in the forest? Is it luxurious bedding? Is it like satin or velvet? Is it just like a light cotton or linen? I want you to get to that level of detail. What color is it? How does it feel? What's the temperature like outside when you wake up? Put down everything from start to finish. Put in times. From bed, where do you go next? Do you automatically take a shower? Do you have your coffee? Does your husband make your coffee? Does your wife have coffee ordered? Do you have a staff? Do you have a full kitchen? Is it like Downton Abbey style? Oh my God, that might be one of my perfect days. I'm obsessed with Downton Abbey. I kind of want that life. But do you have a staff that comes in and brings you breakfast in bed? Write down every magical detail from start to finish, to when you get on with your workday. Are you working on a computer? Are you working somewhere else? Are you working in a to-go office? Do you go somewhere? Who are the people you're hanging out with? What are the actual activities that you're doing, and how do they make you feel? And if you can't think of how to make you feel, because that is where it starts getting sketchy, put in, if you can, write down those feelings. If not, then focus more on the details. What shirt are you wearing? What color is it? What shoes are you wearing? Are you wearing jewelry? Go deep. Go deeper, deeper, deeper into details. You can make them up. You're supposed to make them up. It's your perfect day. You have no limits, no bounds. If, like I said, if you want to drive in a flying car, Jetson style, have at it. What color is the car? What's on the side of it? How high up do you go when you get to work? So, as you're doing this, you're going to, it's going to feel, most people either jump right into it because it's fun and it's funny and you're making a funny story and Aisha said I could do anything, and just start writing and have a good time with it, and you'll find yourself smiling, and you'll just get into it a little bit. And then, inevitably, some people it happens right away, some people it happens later in the exercise. But it does happen. And this whole thing is not just to get you feeling good, but getting you feeling good is a trap to your inner critic and all that hidden messaging, because it can't bear to have that. It can't bear to have that. If it was so happy with you having it, you would already have all these wonderful things already. So we're trying to lure it out in the fastest way possible. So as you're writing those things down, when you're writing your perfect, glorious, beautiful, super, super, super fun day, when you hear that messaging, when you hear anything that is distracting you or trying to veer you away from writing down your perfect day, anything, you're going to put it on that opposite side of the sheet. Don't dwell on it. Don't analyze it. Just write it down. Give it a place to go. Whatever it is saying. It might be saying, God, this is stupid. Oh my, are you really going to listen to this woman on the internet telling you this stuff? That's kind of dumb. There's no way that that's possibly going to happen. And how do you expect that? Whatever it is. The challenge is, don't let it stop you from continuing on with your perfect day, but give it a place to go. Just give it a home, write it down, go back to writing your perfect day. Give it a place, write it down. I've had clients get to the point that they can barely get through their perfect day materials because they're writing down all this negative talk more and more and more, and it's coming like crazy. It's like all of a sudden it comes out of the woodwork and tries to attack your work that you're doing. Fine. Keep writing them down. Just keep writing them down, keep writing down, but do not stop. Write it down, then go back to your perfect day. What you're going to notice, because the more you keep going on your perfect day, the more the criticisms are going to keep coming. It's going to start with really basic surface level critiques that you might already be aware of. Oh my gosh, this really isn't feasible, and this is all nice, but we really don't have time for this. But the more and the more and the more you refuse to stop and you keep writing, it's going to get more and more desperate. It's going to get more and more forceful and aggressive, and you're going to get to deeper, deeper levels. Things that you didn't even realize, like, whoa, where did that come from? Like, who said that? You're going to start hearing it in the voices of people that have put you down in the past. You're going to start hearing things that you haven't heard said to you in years, and that'll kind of stop you, like, whoa, 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 don't stop. Just keep returning back to your perfect day with more and more detail. The more detail you put in, the more luscious and delicious and happy it makes you, the more that other side of the page is going to jump in to try to stop you. The reason I like to break this all down up front is so you know what to expect. If you're finding nothing is getting on to that side of the paper, and to the right side of your paper or left side, depending on the inner critic side, if you're finding nothing's getting on there, it's because you're not giving it enough detail on the happy side. You're being really surface level with it. Like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just get up and, hang out and go to the spa. That's fine. I want more detail and bigger. It's your perfect day. Perfect, amazing. Nothing can go wrong. You have magic powers. You're on a different planet. Everything's amazing. Everybody knows you. You're 6 feet tall. Whatever it is, give it more details. Give it more passion, more and more and more. Make it bigger. Because the bigger you make it, that critic, it cannot help but come out and try to pull you back. That is what it is programmed to do. It is programmed to keep you safe in a way that it was taught to keep you safe. It is trying to pull you back from going too far because that's the messaging that has been installed. Don't go too big. Don't go too full. You'll get hurt. You'll get whatever it is. You're not mad at it. Sometimes you can get mad at it, and that's also another diversionary tactic. Getting mad at it, getting mad at yourself, and then wailing in a corner and not getting anything done. Don't succumb to that. That's just a tactic of the same subconscious. So it's important. Oh, hey, Marissa, how are you? So it's really important to just keep going. Stick with the happy, perfect day on the left side. If you're right-handed, just on that main page, but don't stop. Keep writing the details. Keep playing around in that like happy, beautiful, glorious space of joy. We're going through an activity I use to draw out your inner critic. So make sure you go back and watch the beginning part. But don't hold back with the joy and the fun. It should be fun. And I'm giving you full on permission to go amazing. If you are a painter and you want your perfect day to include like, oh, I just fly to the Louvre because they're doing an exhibition of my specific painting. Great. Okay, put it in there. The more you entice that part of you that is joyful, happy, free, blissful, just playing around in that, the more your inner critic is going to fight you. It's going to fight you with everything it's got. It's going to fight you with every tool it has. Write it down. Give it a place to go. You're giving it permission. Write it down. This exercise could take anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour, depending on how much negative inner critic work that you have to work through. But get through it. Get through a perfect day. You're going to start from when you wake up in the morning to the time that you go back to bed. The first time I did this years ago, oh man, the things I came up with were so amazing. I go through this exercise for myself every few years ago or so, especially if I'm working through my own mindset work and I'm having trouble really getting deep into what's holding me back. I'll go through this to reassess and say, like, where am I? Like, do I really want these things? And what is my perfect day now? My perfect day back then looks a lot different than my perfect day now. The messaging from my inner critic were the same. They haven't changed all that much because they were installed. I just didn't deal with them properly back then. So now things have changed up a little bit. So I recommend doing this exercise, and it's fun. You guys, it's so much fun. The first time I did it, I had a whole closet full of gorgeous clothes that were designer, and I had all these shoes for every occasion, and I had, this was before I had adopted my children, so I had a little baby there, but I had a nanny come in to help me. Like, I had all these glorious things. I would go to a theater studio, and not only was it simultaneously performing my work, but it was also, I was designing costuming. It's like it was so over the top. And that night I would go to an awards show, and all the time I kept feeling things like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe you're doing this. Why are you wasting your time with this? Okay, that really can't happen. That's not physically possible. How are you going to have time to go from there and go, oh, you can't afford that? On and on and on and on and on. So give it a place to go, and you will be shocked of the things that you're telling yourself. At the end of this exercise, what you will have, not only will you have a really cool insight into like, wow, these are all elements that I want in my life, which we're going to play with in the next part of this exercise, but you're also going to have a bunch of critical messaging that you need to face, talk to, work through, process, and then start to release and heal it. Because the left side is the part of the things that you want to see happen in your life. The part, yeah, definitely watch the whole thing. It's a fun little exercise, and you can do it anywhere, unless you start like getting really emotional into it. But that usually that doesn't happen with my clients. All right, that's a lie. A lot of times, by the time I'm done working, we get so deep, my clients will. Tears are okay. I'm always prepared. You will have a really interesting point of view of, wow, these are elements I didn't even know go into my perfect day, but also a whole bunch of lists of things that you need to process that are holding you back. Those are the things that are holding you back. Those are the things that are going to sabotage you later. Even when you get most of the things on your list, that right side is just going to lay in wait and redirect you and start to dismantle and start to force you to make decisions that you don't even understand. That is the part of you that's going to attract the wrong people that you don't want in your life. That is the part that you are struggling to get rid of. So you can't release it if you don't see it. You can't release it if you don't acknowledge it. And as you read through that right-hand side of those inner critic messaging, also really take in how it's making you feel. Because when you read through it at the end, you're going to feel some sort of way. It could be sadness, thinking that, bringing up the memories where they were installed. It could be anger, if you feel like part of you isn't being heard properly. Make sure that you're going to read through it and you're going to feel all sorts of things. The other side, now, after this whole exercise, and you might do this the next day. Usually with clients, I do this on their second meeting. So we have a different meeting for this. We go through and start breaking down on that gorgeous side. What are the things that are vital? The things that you feel like you must have in your future happy, joyous life. Those things that you're like, I gotta have that. I have to. Like that is A1 vital, got to have. The next level of things are like, meh, would be nice. Would be nice to have. I kind of dig it. I mean, it's not as vital as the other one, but I would not say no. Think of it as like your overreach. Like that'd be amazing. Like the cherry on top. I still get a sundae. I gotta have that part of sundae, but these things are like, ooh, that'd be nice. I won't freak out if I don't have it, but that'd be real nice. And the third part are the things that you're like, yeah, that I'm don't know how to fly. Like I'm not actually a bird. I'm probably not going to be an astronaut right now. The things that are you put in there for fun because I said to. It's my fault, so you can blame it on me. But the things that you're like, that's funny, but there's really not. They go against the rules of physics and gravity and time and space. Fine. That's where you're putting them in. Make sure they really do go against the common sense rules of time and space and travel and things that you're willing to let go. Because sometimes I've seen people let things go. I'm like, that's totally doable. Really? Like you want to do that? But put them in these three categories of that perfect story. Color code it, circle it, Make another list if you want, and all the key elements in that gorgeous story, start putting them into those 3 boxes, because you're forming a real story for yourself of what your goals are going to be. After you've done that, and once again, if you still get more pushback on the other side, just keep putting it in anywhere. It could be chaotic on that right hand side. It could be all over the place. So after you've done those 3 parts, now rewrite that story, that gorgeous story, with those changes that you have added and modified and tweaked and really edited and gone into, like, okay, what sounds better? Rewrite that story, because now you're creating it into a more realistic type of story that you can actually see yourself following through with. And that is your new goal. When I did this story, like I was saying, when I did this activity, and I wasn't even focusing on the right hand side, I was just putting the stuff, the inner critic stuff, just to get it out of the way. And since I have delved into the mindset work, I now can I start going back to those things and remove them and heal them and really rewire my subconscious altogether. First time I did this activity, I didn't rewire it. I was just trying to get it out of the way so I can focus on the fun stuff. But when I got down to that realistic story, I ended up with everything in that realistic story in one way or another. Little modifications here and there. For example, having one child and a little baby. I wanted to be a mother. And that did come to pass. I did want a closet full of gorgeous designer clothes, and through some circumstances that came and surprised me, I ended up with that. So I ended up with everything on that list, even a bird. Like, I even ended up with a fancy pet. I love my bird. But now I have like a billion critters. So you'll be surprised with what this exercise can do. And I got that even without clearing the subconscious stuff. Now, this is where mindset coaches come in, because I know later on I lost a lot of that stuff because of that hidden messaging. So that's where it's really good to hire a coach. So that is it. That is the first exercise I give to new clients. So go ahead and try it. Try it and see what happens. And write it down. Put your results down in the comments below. Send me a DM. Go ahead and send me a message. You can send me one on Facebook, or you can send me one on Instagram. And just give it a try and just see what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to give you all a little taste of what it's like to work with me. If you're interested in continuing on, if you do this exercise and you really want to get to how am I going to release it, how am I going to cope with it, what are the next steps, also consider joining my my next coaching series. We're going to start early July, and I'm going to put the details in the comments below, because I'd love to help you guys release these and get you closer to that happy side. All right. Hey, and I got through a whole live stream without anything crazy going on. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will talk to you at the next live stream. Bye.